Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Mind Your Own Business. I know that in the world out there, you don't know, but it's been a few weeks since we've been on here, and I'm glad to be back at it. I have a special guest today, another cottage baker. I'd like to welcome Diane Mencke. Thank you very much, Diane. Before we get into the little bit of chatting we're going to do today about cottage baking, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get to Omaha and into baking?
Okay, well, I was raised in western Nebraska.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I've always loved to bake, like 4-H, the whole 9 yards. But I went to college and got a couple of degrees before I decided that baking is what I was going to do. I got married right out of college. We lived in Kentucky and Oklahoma. And I had a very thriving business in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And when we decided to move back to Nebraska to be closer to grandkids and family, I just wasn't quite ready to stop baking.
Sure.
And so we've been here 2 years in March. And so I just started baking in the cottage bakery industry. And
all right.
Here we are.
All right, great. Well, I met you when you had a special, I think it was around Christmas time last year, these Taylor Swift cookies that I thought my kids would like. And I still remember the sweetest thing you said, which it always, when people recognize you, no matter where you go, oh yeah, I've had your cakes. But you said, I did a little fangirl action when you ordered the cookies.
I did, and I think I did this when you walked in the door.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that very much. So in the cottage baking business, a lot of people want to do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do it. A lot of people leave it afterwards. And we're going to talk today about a couple of reasons why people might get into it and how they can be successful with it. So I want to talk about two things. One is pricing. Then we're going to talk a little bit about burnout, which we talked about prior to the recording. Mm-hmm. And maybe you can give me tips on how to get through that.
I'll try.
Yeah. So let's talk about pricing first. I was thinking about this. I think about it all the time, and especially for the bakers who come in kind of thinking this is going to be a side hustle or maybe a part-time thing, and how the figuring out pricing and everything that goes into it is so crucial and critical. And I really think that a lot of people don't consider all the factors that come into pricing. So let's start with, tell me and the world what your business is, like the three primary things that your business consists of in sales.
Okay, and it's changed since I moved here to Omaha. So prior to living here in Omaha, in Oklahoma, my main business was wedding cakes, followed by celebration cakes, followed by cookies. Okay. Here in Omaha, I've had to pivot a little bit because nobody knows that I exist. So I'm not doing nearly the wedding cakes that I've done. I am now doing a lot of classes. So that's something I just kind of very, very briefly delved into when I was in Oklahoma.
All right.
Followed by celebration cakes, followed very distantly by wedding cakes.
Okay.
And sourdough bread and all of the things. I tell everybody, if it's bad for you, I offer it.
So I say when people ask what I do, I'm a full service custom baker. Mm-hmm. So when you say classes, what are you teaching?
Okay, right now I'm teaching sourdough bread classes once a month.
Okay.
I'm teaching at least one cookie class a month, and I've offered cake classes a little bit, so it kind of goes back and forth between cookies and cakes.
Okay.
But always the sourdough bread has been super popular.
Okay.
So.
And where do you do the teaching?
In my home.
All right, which is convenient for you.
Very convenient. And I'm doing my first in-home at a different place today, this afternoon. So I'm sure I still have sourdough on me somewhere. But
so somebody hired you to come into their home to do it? That's
and I was super reluctant because sourdough bread takes a whole lot of ingredients and a whole lot of forethought, and you have to do so many steps ahead of time. So I'm going to be hauling basically the whole back end of my car to this house, but I'm excited to try it. Yeah. And I have taught some corporate classes, cookie decorating classes at the holiday, and that's really fun to do too. So I hope that grows, in the next holiday season.
Okay, so you have several different items on your menu that require thoughtful consideration when you're doing your pricing.
Right.
And so part of this is going to be just questions, and we're going to delve into the answers to the questions. But if you had to speculate on what is the priciest part of your business cost-wise.
Cost-wise to me?
Cost-wise to you.
To me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is that?
I would guess it's probably, that's hard to say because if we're just talking cost, not time. Do you mean time and everything? Okay. So I would say that planning a wedding cake is probably the most time-consuming thing because there's so much back and forth with the bride and groom. There's the tasting aspect. There's the conversations that come up. You know, it's mostly a time thing.
Right.
And then I use a lot of really good ingredients, so that's a little bit more expensive as well.
Sure.
So from a time aspect especially, I think wedding cakes take the most out of you.
Yeah, I was thinking about time as well. And in a consideration from yesterday, I had a little 4-inch 2-layer smash cake and a 6-inch 2-layer coordinating cake. No big deal, right? You can bake those things in a half an hour, mix and bake in a half an hour, and ice a couple of cakes in, maybe 35 minutes total combined. If that, except for one of the cakes was vanilla icing and the other cake was almond icing. They wanted the same colors on both cakes and they were 6 different colors for each cake.
Yeah.
And
I always think celebration cakes take so much more out of you than a standard wedding cake.
Yeah. So the timing aspect of how long it took me to make 6 different colors.
You made no money.
And well, we're talking brights also, right?
Yes,
so pastels are easy and I have figured out how to do brights, but it took about an hour to make the colors. And actually, I do charge for that time, but it's something I think about with the bakers who are just wanting to get into this or maybe doing it as a side hustle, and they're not considering time in their cost.
Right. And that reminds me, when I first moved here, I didn't know who anybody was, but I started posting on different, Facebook sites.
You can name them. It's fine.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think it was Omaha Food Lovers Uncensored.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I had several cupcakes left over from different orders. And so there were 6 different cupcakes, 6 different fillings, 6 different icings. And I priced them, accordingly. And I got mean girled on there so bad because nobody should charge more than $2 a cupcake.
Oh, right.
That kind of thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of thinking kind of persists when you're first starting out, maybe.
So I was thinking about that as I was driving over here, and you see it on Facebook Reels a lot. Why do you charge so much for a cake?
Yes.
And a filling. So you have 2 options when you're making a filling. You can make enough for your order, or you can make enough for a couple of orders. And depending on what you're going through, for example, for me, lemon and blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, I make a lot. They go in the freezer, but they only go in the freezer so they'll last for 2 weeks. And I'm going through those a lot, and I'm making a ton of it all the time. And the time to make a filling, so there's the planning your orders for the week. I usually do my supply shopping on Monday for the whole week.
Yes.
So what am I going to need? Inventory. What do I have? Inventory is a critical must. Doing the shopping. It's never just one stop. It is. Although I do most of my shopping at Restaurant Depot.
You do? I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I really like it.
Okay,
there.
that's good. I'll have to check it out.
A lot of people go to Costco or Sam's.
Yeah, Sam's has always been mine.
Pricing is about the same, but I like Restaurant Depot because they always have the same products every week. It's never a hit or miss. Then there's the unloading the products.
I know, yep.
Oh my gosh, that just takes so much time. So now on Monday morning, I have put, or Monday afternoon, I put 7 hours into the orders for the week, and I haven't walked in my kitchen.
Haven't cracked an egg or anything.
And so how much do you want to get paid in an hour? And I think a lot of people don't consider that time. If you can go to your cabinet and just get out flour and chocolate chips and sugar and make some cookies, that doesn't seem terrific. However, if you're doing that, you're probably not having those products set aside for baking, right? Or for your customers. They're what your family's having. If you're doing this as a side gig. So 7 hours. How much do you want to get paid an hour? I don't want to get paid $3 an hour or 12.
I don't want to make minimum wage either.
No, I don't. And so when I see people who are selling cookies or cookies for $1 a piece, I get honestly, I get sad for them. It's great for you as a customer to be able to get this homemade cookie for $1, or if you can buy 6 and you're giving that customer, the baker, $6. That baker has lost maybe $30.
Yeah.
And time.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think when people are pricing like that, and it's always people kind of starting out, they're going to be burned out so quickly that I think it kind of teaches themselves. You know, they'll teach themselves that they need to up their prices, or they're out of it in no time at all, I've noticed. Because I've been in this business nearly 20 years at this point, and I've seen a lot come and go.
Yeah.
Just a ton. And I know we're going to talk about burnout later, but man, those low prices will lead to burnout in like seconds flat.
It's no different than when you're working in a corporate environment. So I was not hourly, but I would work with a lot of people who were, and they would talk about overtime and how great it is until it's not.
Yeah.
Right? So 10 hours of overtime a week, or 20 hours of overtime a week for 4 or 5 weeks is great. And then that 6th week, it's like, I just do not want to work anymore. And that's kind of what happens in the business. Now let's talk about $2 cupcakes. So as a big building, a brick and mortar or whatever, if you have a $2 cupcake, you probably have machines that are mixing, pouring, and then you have big ovens, so you're baking
a bazillion at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get a better, price cut on because you're buying huge amounts of ingredients or mixes or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And then for the decorating style, there are machines that do the decorating style, but if you're doing them by hand, you're probably not, whether you're a big business or an in-home business, you're probably not doing the style that one style I particularly love, where it's got usually a rosette or two, and it's got the squiggles, it's got the stars, it's got the dots, and then it's got these beautiful sprinkles that are placed perfectly.
Right.
You can't do that for $2.
No, you
even
just
if
can't.
You're doing a white cupcake or a chocolate cupcake, particularly if you're baking with eggs.
Yes.
Right now, we're of course in a time when eggs are running at $5, $6, $7 a dozen. I don't even look anymore.
I know.
I honestly don't look, because what are you going to do?
You got to have them, man.
Yeah, you do. But when you talk about a $2 cupcake or a $2.50 cupcake, so you're doing a dozen and they're $25 or $30, $24 or $30. And I'm thinking, how long did those cupcakes take? Let's say that you're paying yourself $7.50 an hour. So you're forgetting how much it costs to pay for the ingredients.
Yeah.
And so that's something too. We have to calculate in the cost of ingredients, plus the time, plus the packaging, plus the marketing time, plus paying ourselves for time.
Right.
That's where the pricing comes in,
yeah,
right?
Not to mention gas and electric and all the other stuff that rolls all into it.
Correct. And so when I look at the pricing for some of these people, and I think, okay, and then we also talk about delivery. Do you offer delivery?
For a price.
Right, exactly. And so I do delivery. The price of delivery is based on the distance from my home.
Same.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I'll get people, I live in Northeast Omaha, not all the way in the corner, but I live near Benson. And somebody will live on 185th and Harrison, and my delivery charge is higher, $25. And they're like, I don't want to pay that. Okay, that's perfectly
fair.
fine. I understand. Then they'll show up and say, hey, it took me 40 minutes to get here.
Yes.
I know. And so for me, that's 80 minutes. It's more than an hour out of the kitchen.
Yep, that's exactly how I think of it too. Yeah, because you could be making a whole lot more in the kitchen than charging for delivery.
Yeah.
And when I lived in Oklahoma, I lived 30 miles away from every customer. Like I was in the middle of nowhere, truly was. So I would drive into town and meet people at the little corner store.
Okay.
And I didn't charge for that, other than, maybe bumped up the price of what they were ordering.
That might have been a way for you to also have a little conversation with adults besides your husband.
Exactly. It was.
Yeah.
And I also delivered to some of the bigger towns.
Okay.
Like I would do a mass order and I'd have like 30 or 40 people. It looked like a drug deal, I think. One time I was a little concerned a police vehicle pulled up and I was like, oh no, but he was picking up an order for his wife,
Perfect.
you know? So,
Perfect.
But anyway, that pivot. You have to do what you have to do for your business. But now in Omaha, most everybody comes to pick up. And it's just a whole new world for me. I love it.
Yeah.
And I do deliver, like I said, for a fee.
Sure. Yeah. And smart. That's really smart.
And I really like to deliver the wedding cakes. I'm kind of worried when people walk out the door with a 2 or 3 tier cake. Because it's a special skill to deliver them successfully.
I don't allow it. Well, I tell people, and I'll say it right here, it's $150 if you want to pick up your wedding cake. It's far less than that if I deliver. And you know, there's an old joke about somebody comes out of the kitchen with a turkey and they trip and they knock the turkey on the floor and then they say, oh, it's okay, I have another one in the kitchen. And they run in and no, I don't have another tiered wedding cake. And I've got 3 steps. And every time it's like step, crack, step, turn, pivot to get it into the car.
Yeah.
And then the driving.
Yeah.
It's even 5 years later for me, I'm 20 years for you. Do you still just get that little bit of anxiety?
Always.
And the dirt roads?
The dirt roads in Oklahoma were bad, but the potholes in Omaha, come on, man. Those are as bad as those old dirt roads.
Right. Yeah.
No, I much prefer to deliver a larger cake by myself.
Yeah. So tell me what you think when you see online a baker saying, I deliver in Omaha for free or $5 anywhere in Omaha.
Okay, my thought is you're making no money, honey. You're just making no money. So it's a business first and foremost for me. So that's what I honestly think.
Right.
You're making no money. You get to bake, I guess, if you love to bake. I mean, you get to support your hobby, but you're not making any money.
So I think a lot of times that a lot of people aren't paying attention for whatever reasons. Maybe they are in a relationship or a marriage where they don't have to pay attention to the expenses as much. And that's good for them, but you're devaluing.
You're making it hard for the rest of us.
And for yourself, you're devaluing your own work.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know people will come to you. They will. And when bakers have said to me, you know, you're well known. I'm not, so I'm charging less. Oh, you can't.
Don't you just want to say, don't do it?
It doesn't work that way.
No.
My degree is in marketing, and I've got a lot of experience in working in the business world. And I know that when you start selling something for 50 cents, just something, this widget,
they're going to expect it to always be.
Yeah, they're not going to want to pay $3.50. Lost leaders don't work when you're little, like us.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
and like, I know that I raised prices when eggs went up a bit, and I think you and I talked about this. You know, you had asked if I was going to go back down, but I'm not gonna. I'm not. Everything's gone up, so
right.
You know, it just is what it is.
Yeah, pricing is an interesting topic all the time. And you can't be everything to everybody, right? So people will call about wedding cakes, and some people want to feed 200 people for $2 a piece. And I just say, you know what? There are places in town where you can go. And people talk about Costco or Sam's cakes, and I'm sure that they're lovely.
Yeah.
That's for them.
Yes.
There are other places in town that a 3-tiered wedding cake that I might charge $500 for, other people are charging $2,000 for.
Yeah.
And when they tell me that, I'm thinking, okay, whatever they're doing, good for them.
Yes.
I probably wouldn't mind charging that price, because then I could just do one wedding a month and I'd be all done.
Yeah.
But pricing is such an important part of what we do. In order to be successful, you really have to take into consideration all of the things that we've talked about. The amount of time it takes to plan your order, especially wedding cakes, but not especially, particularly with wedding cakes, because there are so many conversations involved. When you are dealing with a customer who wants a birthday cake, I'd like to order a birthday cake. Okay, what would you like? A white cake. Okay, would you like any filling on that? Yes. Okay, and what flavor of icing? Oh, your regular flavor. And the conversation can just go on and on.
I know. And I do a lot of my ordering. Like I have a website, people order there, and they put all their preferences down. But you still have to have a few people that want to talk to you personally, call you on the phone and stuff. And so even on emails or texts, I find that I have to ask one question at a time. So it does take.
They always answer the last question.
Yes, exactly. So it does take longer and longer,
Yeah, and if you don't calculate that time in,
oh my gosh,
because that's time you're not working on that cake that's in your kitchen right now, needing to be mixed, baked, pulled, iced, cooled, whatever.
Or the people that 3 or 4 weeks before their cake are asking, so how's my cake coming? Or how, are we still on your books? And just, stuff like that takes time. All that stuff takes time. Yeah. And you got to put it into the pricing of your final product.
That's right. I think even when you're doing this as a hobby, you want to make some money, right?
Well, you would hope, yeah.
Yeah, and so somebody paying you $5 for a cake doesn't mean you made $5.
No.
It means you have $5.
And you probably, ended up paying them ultimately in the long run.
Yeah,
You didn't make
yeah. I have a business credit card, and I get that card every month, and I think, okay, I am not paying for tomorrow's orders with yesterday's sale. I'm happy to say that.
Yay. Yep.
Yeah. It's a good place to be when you're not looking to pay for your next order today.
Right.
But there's a lot of thought that goes into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a great conversation, and I appreciate being able to talk to somebody who's like-minded. I would be happy to talk to anyone who's not like-minded. It would be more of a debate, but I am open-minded, and I'm willing to listen to you whether or not I agree with you. So if you're a cottage baker that likes to charge 50 cents or $1 for your cookies, or $1.85 for your cupcakes, I'm happy to have you on. So reach out. Mind your own business is the name of my podcast. All right. So let's shift this a little bit and talk about burnout. We were talking before the recording started that I was in the corporate industry, and our busy time of year was January and February and March, getting ready for the biggest annual trade show of the year. And I was in charge of doing everything to get this show ready. And it was big. It was always out of town. So it required thousands of dollars of samples, orders put together, designs for the booth, everything. And come March, I was exhausted. I would have a breakdown every March. I mean, really, literally, like bawling at my desk and hating the whole world. And
Yep.
It was awful. And I have, up until May, I had never experienced that in the baking industry. But you told me that you have.
Yes.
So let's talk about burnout and what that feels like in the cottage baking industry.
Well, and you're going through it now because you're very well known and you're getting tons of orders. I'm still fairly new here. And so my burnout occurred back in Oklahoma.
Thank God for you. Really, that you haven't had to experience it here.
It's like a whole new world. It's not bad. I'm not minding it at all, but I do like to make the money when I'm approaching burnout, that type of constant order. But I think over the years, you'll learn exactly how many servings you can do a month. Or a week. In a week, my limit in Oklahoma was about 1,000 servings a week. That's it. And I knew after that, it would be insane. I'd be up all night. It'd be ridiculous. When you say you're approaching burnout, were you up all night long? Have you done that?
Oh, so not for a long, long time.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I didn't overbook myself for days. I booked way too many things every single freaking day of May and had not enough time to do things that matter to me also, like golf, which is, I love golf so much more than almost anything. And it is 4 hours of let everything go and just focus on golf. And
you didn't have time to do that.
I couldn't play. Not often enough. I probably got in 4 rounds of golf.
Yeah. In the whole month of May.
Yeah, where I normally like to play 4 rounds of golf a week.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Well, I had a mentor in Oklahoma. She's 81 years old now. She's still doing 1 wedding cake a month. But she told me, don't ever, ever, ever not sleep. Don't take too many hours, so many hours. In fact, I really kind of got my start in Oklahoma when she got breast cancer. And she really felt like it was because she just worked way too much. Like every weekend would stay up all night long she never slept on a weekend. And she got breast cancer, and so she floated all of her orders to me, and that was really the beginning of my business taking off, just getting well known because she got sick.
So that's interesting. I'm going to just make a little side note. I heard a story on NPR a couple of years ago. They talked about sleep. Humans are the only species that gives up sleep. Mm-hmm. Every other species sleeps. You cannot make up sleep. Mm-mm. And sleep deprivation has been proved to lead to cancer.
Yep, she was absolutely sure that I don't know if she ever read that study or not, but she was absolutely sure. She said, do not ever, if you can, give up sleep. Don't ever. And so I've really tried to do that. I think I've maybe had 2 whole nights in my entire 20-year career that I've stayed up all night.
That's about the same here. I remember.
I wasn't proud of it. No. I was like, oh, you should have planned better, Diane.
I remember the first time it happened, I was doing my first ever Buttered Marshmallow slice sale. Mm-hmm. And so every slice has 2 marshmallows on it. And You
had to torch all those marshmallows.
I did. Huh? And I had 4 tongs. 4 is out because I had started out brand new. So it was like 1 a.m. and I'm doing a calculation of how many mallows I have to torch and how many I can do at a time. And I'm looking at this rack of cakes and I thought, okay, I'm not going to sleep. Yeah. I'll sleep all day. And I did the next day. Mm-hmm. And once I realized I couldn't go to sleep, I kind of got a resurgence of energy because I had to.
Yeah, there's no choice.
No, and that happened about 3 different times with those sales. But I love your thought about knowing how many servings you can do.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way you can do that is by actually doing it, right? And I could do a lot more then because I had a lot more space to work with. Right now I don't think maybe half that at the max because I just don't have the space to store that much stuff.
Right. And I found that out. I mean, I know how much space, and I can be pretty creative in fitting things into the refrigerator. I'm really good at
Tetris in the fridge.
Yes, exactly. What I understand, but I still struggle with continually is I need to not figure out how many orders I can do. I know I can do 10 orders a day if I want. But what I need to start doing is saying, okay, I need to look at the size of the order.
Yes.
So, or how much money I want to make in a day. Mm-hmm. And after I hit the size, the servings, I haven't thought about it that way. The serving or the dollar amount, say no.
Yes.
And that way the burnout won't hit. Because May was a struggle. I was talking with you earlier about how I had a particularly busy weekend, the very last Saturday of the month. Mm-hmm. And I remember on May 15th, I didn't know the date of the month. I thought for sure it had to be about May 28th. And I look at my watch and I'm like, oh no. Good grief. It is May 15th. I cannot believe this month has been 184 days long already.
And you're only halfway there.
Right. It was debilitating. I'll say that. Yeah. So the week leading up to that super busy day, I didn't accept any orders that week.
Good for you.
What I should have done is not accept any orders for the week following.
Yeah.
But what I did instead is, because I was so busy, I was just accepting orders. And then when the next day hit and I look and I'm like, oh gosh, I've got 65 pans of cake I have to bake for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cakes.
That is a lot of cakes.
And then it's a lot of time. And it's the amount of ingredients that I have to buy is insane. And it got to be a week after May 31st. So June.
You are burned out, man.
June 7th. And I'm thinking, I don't want to bake. Yeah. It's the first time in 5 years plus
that you felt that way. And I felt that way a time or two before, but like within a week, I'm just itching, man, I got to bake. I got to bake. It's like an addiction or something.
Yeah, it is funny. And in the morning when I wake up and I'm fresh, that's my biggest issue. I said to a friend of mine, I'm going to stop taking orders in the morning. Because I think I can do everything. You can do it all.
I know, that's so true.
Right.
I feel that way too, because I always sit down and plan, and I have tons of ideas. I write them all down, all the things I'm going to do, and then by like 1 o'clock, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. So
it gives me encouragement to know that you've felt this way too.
Oh, for sure.
But
it will pass.
Yeah,
I promise.
That helps a lot. I live by myself. I run the business by myself. I did hire a young woman from Duchenne to come in and help me during that busy week. And it was so funny. I felt like I had invented hired help. I really did.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. It was terrific. And she did such a great job. And I've actually asked her if she can come in and work for me this week. It's just one-offs. But
nice. That's awesome to have somebody that can do that.
Yeah.
And I used to rely on my children to do that.
Yeah.
They're all older and moved away. And now none of them enjoy baking, really.
Same here. Same with mine.
But it's awesome that you have somebody you can call on to help you out on really busy weeks.
Yeah. And then hopefully I'll be smarter about saying no. And this really goes to all of the cottage bakers, especially those of you who think you want to do this as a side hustle. The young lady I brought in to help, she did tell me that she was thinking about maybe doing this as a side hustle when she got through college and whatever. And I laughed, not in her face. I did not laugh at her dreams. I laughed because you think it's a side hustle until you have to go plan your orders.
It becomes all encompassing in 3 minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have to make decisions on what you're not going to do because you have an order, right?
Exactly.
Where I think you and I don't make those decisions very often now.
Right.
This is our business.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
what we do.
Yeah, and I've planned now I'm a planner. We plan family trips, we plan holiday. Everything is planned out like a year in advance, and my kids all know that they have to do that.
Yeah, I don't plan quite that far in advance, but
this is years of doing it though.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And I don't have that whole big extended family to do it, but the whole planning is important. When you're doing it as a side hustle, a lot of times it's easy to say, I'll take this order and do it. And then suddenly you realize that there's a concert you wanted to go to.
And I don't know if you've noticed this too. I see a lot on, food sites on Facebook or whatever. My baker was going to make this cake and now she can't. I mean, I see that all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I always think it's great to go with somebody who does treat it as a business.
Right. Yeah. It is super important. Yeah. Well, Diane, I want to thank you so much for coming out and talking to me about these things. I feel great. I'm going to go home and take every order I can.
Same.
Yeah. Actually, Monday for me, I think you said it for you too, is maybe supply day, although you are off to teach a class
in somebody else's house. So wish me luck. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Even though this airs on Thursdays, we record on Mondays and usually pop into the studio and then head right over and start doing my supply shopping. Golf courses are closed on Monday.
Are they really?
My club is, but that's okay because it gives me the opportunity to get home and get started baking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I appreciate this. Would you enjoy being my guest again, and we can delve into other.
This is my favorite thing to talk about. You might have noticed.
Oh, good. Mine too. Don't ask me about my bakery, champagne, or golf unless you have all day.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, Omaha, thank you very much, and actually all around the world because I know you're all interested. Thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Own Business. I'd love to be able to share more with you. I hope that you will tune in. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, mind your own business.